Thank you.
And it says we're live.
It lies. All right, let's see here. If you would like to, well, today it's keep the air conditioning running. I keep the air conditioning running. Donate here. Air conditioning, good. It's Texas.
97 today.
No kidding. Where'd fall go? Damn it.
Yeah.
King of Harvest Coffees. Damn fine coffee. And don't forget that we're doing a second anthology with them, due out anytime now. If you order from them, and you should, please let them know you heard about it from us, so they'll send us more coffee. Those of us requiring coffee, please tell them you heard about us, so that they'll send us more coffee.
Like you this morning.
No kidding. All right, T-shirts. He's got scores, if not hundreds. He's a friend of ours. Go here, get your smart-ass T-shirts. Let them know you heard about it from us.
No, Doug, I've not heard from Mackie Chandler.
Mackie Chandler.
He lives in North Carolina, Western North Carolina.
All right, then.
Yeah, it says we're live.
Yeah, it lies.
Yeah. A bit of a follow-up on what Doug was asking. We're wearing one of those tees now. Yay!
Good.
Yeah, shit, we're both in blue today.
Well,
I screwed that up.
As much red as blue. I
Yeah.
have no red except for my face. I have no red on mine.
Well, after the tree trimming yesterday, I was bleeding all over my other pants, so I had to change. The post that was floating around about the helicopter pilot being threatened with arrest for rescuing people is, in fact, true.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's not the only one either.
Yeah. He was in the middle of rescuing a older man and woman.
Older couple. He got the lady out and had to leave the guy there.
Got the lady out.
Had to leave the gentleman.
Yeah, had to go back and get his son, who was his co-pilot. They were flying a Robertson 44, which is a two-place airplane, basically.
Itty bitty chopper. Itty bitty.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those in footage from there.
Yeah.
Blue ones and yellow ones.
I would not get on an R-44. No, just no.
Well, that kind of depends. How much, if there's water or angry indigenous nipping at your toes, you might get in it. Yeah.
I'd still be thinking twice. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I know enough about R-44s to not trust them.
You can deal with angry indigenous population or rampaging waters or get in the chopper.
Yeah. Hey, cuz.
Get in the chopper.
For all of our Jewish friends, it is Jewish New Year.
Mazel tov.
Yeah. Not a real good one in Israel right now, but
Even worse one in Iran.
yeah. Well, maybe. As we were discussing at lunch, there was a rather interesting happening a couple of days ago in Iran when their counterterrorism folks,
The chief of the Iranian counterterrorism battalion and his entire headshed
got up and left and went back to Israel.
went back to headquarters at Mossad. Whoops.
Yeah, Alan, the FAA has issued a NOTAM, but these guys were authorized flight. All right, you're right, Mr. Coons. R-44 is 4-seater, R-22 is a two-seater. R-22.
They are sharp-looking little craft too.
Yeah.
I don't know a thing about them, but I've seen a lot of them out of North Carolina.
Yeah, threatened by a fire clown, assistant fire chief.
Yep. With cops going, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have
The
turned around.
irony was the Michigan fire chief that did come down and volunteered and actually set up coordination, including Air Corps,
Yep.
for that. Don't know, Dagamore. I don't know if there is an R-66.
Mm.
They've got problems. Anyway.
Issues.
Yeah. The other interesting thing from Israel / Lebanon / that area, apparently Biden went to the G7 and talked to them to find out what he should tell Israel they could do. And he came out this morning and said, well, you can't bomb the nuke plants.
Or what?
Yeah.
Or what? Is it cut off aid?
He's not giving them the aid they've already paid for.
And not going to send them any more bombs.
Yeah. So Netanyahu, and I don't blame them a bit, they're totally ignoring the U.S.
Good.
They are not telling the U.S. what they're doing.
Because they'll, as soon as you tell them, somebody in the cabinet will pick up the red phone and call the Iranians and tell them what's coming.
Yeah. And apparently Blinken's been declared persona non grata.
No.
Yeah. Breaks my friggin' heart.
I don't care. For those of you on Facebook, y'all know exactly how I feel about U.S. government aid for overseas people. For those of you not on Facebook, my family's never been helped by the State Department or the U.S. government in many, many, many problems overseas. There's a reason. There's a reason. In third world countries, you have a Krugerrand hidden somewhere with easy access. One Krugerrand will get you a fishing boat anywhere. One Krugerrand will get you a flight anywhere.
Away.
Yes. If I were in Lebanon, I would not be sitting there begging the State Department to send help that they're not going to send.
Well, it's even more interesting, as we were talking at lunch. As of last night, Rolexes. Yes, I know. For reasons. As of last night, people were bitching because the State Department had not helped arrange any flights.
No.
And the airlines that were supporting Lebanon were charging any American, and only Americans, $8,000 a seat. Coming home from lunch, I'm listening to the news, and all of a sudden, the state says they've arranged over 200 charter flights. Amazing how they did that in 24 hours or less.
You go get your Krugerrand.
Yeah.
You walk your happy ass down to the harbor in Beirut. You find a fishing boat that looks relatively clean. You hand the captain a Krugerrand, and you say, I'd like to go to Turkey or Israel. And then you have a high power hidden in case he decides he's not going to be smart. And then you take your happy ass to Turkey or Israel, and you don't worry about it.
Yeah. And if he decides to not be smart, you kind of
shoot him with a high power, and then negotiate with the first mate.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have thoughts.
There are always people who go there to do good. American University in Beirut used to be world famous for the quality of their education. Sadly, that was many, many, many years ago.
Decades ago.
Yeah. Now we're after high power over an Uzi.
High power hides better than Uzi does.
Uzis
right now, you do not want to be a Caucasian with a firearm in plain sight.
Yeah.
Because you'll look like an Israeli and shit will go south with a quickness.
Yeah. Their American University in Beirut was a separate issue. It was a very good university. A lot of American professors over there. But that's neither here nor there anymore. But there have been discussions between various entities about what's next for Israel. And Israel does not need to go nuke.
Doesn't have to.
They don't have to. They've got enough other things that they can play with, enough locations.
If you can spay or neuter 1,800 terrorists by one beep, you don't need to go nuke.
Yeah. And not only that, with the counterterrorism folks leaving, now Khomeini and all the rest of them are going, is it safe to go to my hidey hole? Because
actually, I don't know if they are. I'm not sure they've got the ability to think that far ahead. Because the head of the Iranian counterintelligence, who was undercover Mossad, walked out of his office with a big pile of files.
Yeah, Nuke Road Warrior, exactly right, because my cousin's got one of them. Targeted Beirut is an excellent book, highly recommended. Jack Carr, and I can't remember the other gentleman.
I guess these days it'd be a Glock or a SIG instead of a high power, but
yeah,
regardless, need a 9mm because you can get 9mm anywhere.
Yep.
You can steal it.
Except Europe.
You can get it in Europe.
Well, not as easily.
No, you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
It can be bought, borrowed, stolen, or acquired anywhere in the United States outside of Antarctica, and I'm not sure about Antarctica.
James Scott. That's the other author. Yes. CZ-75. Okay, fine.
Yeah, 9mm. You can get ammo anywhere.
I like a high power myself.
High power is perfectly prominent weapon.
Yeah.
They're damn fine pistols.
Yeah.
You need a Krugerrand and a high power. The Krugerrand to buy your way out of whatever trouble spot you're in, and the high power to make sure the idiots you're paying stay honest.
Yeah.
Ish.
Or one small thumb drive. Yep. Too bad the Medusa was unworkable. Yeah, well, things happen.
Raptor, you buy something you can dump with a quickness.
Yeah.
High powers you can get rid of.
Yeah, they will pay you good money for a high power.
Well, also you can throw it in the harbor and not have heartburn over your pistol.
And go back and get it if necessary.
Mm-hmm. But trust me, you don't get caught with a weapon in a lot of these countries. So accidentally getting out of sight of the local secret police and dumping what you're carrying is a smart thing to do.
No, we do not have Cedar with us today. They had a doctor's appointment that has apparently run a little long. Yeah, it differs. You don't want to go over there.
They can be fun. They
used to be.
If you're younger, they're a lot of fun. They're scary as hell, but that's part of. Well, I'm a guy. I don't know. They were fun.
Girls, however, going hiking by themselves, no.
Idiots.
Yeah. Or the idiots that went hiking up on the Iranian border. That was even stupid.
Morocco.
Or Morocco.
I love Morocco, but if I were a single female or two young females, that was stupid.
Yeah. That it was.
Well, like I said, some of those places, the dangerous places, are fun. Ish.
Yeah, differ. That's the key point. You're a child. You have children. You're female. You stay in the land of the free. So many people do not understand that. There is still an organization that has, I don't know if it's up to $1 million yet, but it was some large amount of money that kept growing for the Gays for Palestine to go actually have a march in Palestine. And gee, that hasn't happened yet.
See, if you go there, you can watch that.
Yeah.
You could take yourself a schmog and your concealed high power, and you can watch the fun.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to tell you, a Gays for Palestine march in Gaza is fun. Will be fun to watch.
Yeah. Perversions of fun.
The sudden smack of reality, much like a cudgel to the teeth, pretty much like a cudgel to the teeth, would be a wonder to behold.
Yeah.
It really would.
Yeah, Jesse, Makarovs are.
Ammo is hard to. You can't steal Makarov ammo.
No. And as Mr. Coon said, they are now pricey after the import ban.
There is no import ban.
Yeah.
In the Middle Eastern countries.
But,
do not buy a pistol here, then smuggle it through the airport customs into your foreign country. Walk in your foreign country without the gun and get it there.
Any street corner or go to the friggin' souk, for God's sake.
Teach you people the basics? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Might get great looks of the city from the top of the building and all the way down. Yep.
Fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, 9x18 is a funky round.
7.65 mil with a.
I've never understood why people are so in love with a PPK.
If they don't have twin scars right here, they've never actually fired a PPK.
Yeah. Well, I got them, but that was from a 1911.
No, it's. You know me, I've got skinny hands.
Yeah.
And I get slide bite from PPK. I hate the damn things.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, that may be true, James
TPH.
Bond.
Now the Walther TPH, the 6-round 22 is not a bad little elevator gun. Yeah, PPKs will chew you up. Just
Yeah.
ugh.
And
And
it's,
I don't have any fat right here, so when I grab it, it doesn't bulge up, and I still get slide bite.
and it bleeds. Boy, does it bleed.
Excuse me, what?
HKP7s.
Excuse me.
If anybody would know, Alex would.
A gun shop in Texas is making brand new HKP7s. I'm sorry. What name? Name, please.
Yeah.
I missed my P7. I seriously missed my P7. P7pro.com. So, how y'all doing?
Mil-spec 1911 hammers bite the web of my thumb.
That's why you need the commander hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. At a point differs. Which brings up an interesting point in writing. I just finished up a story for the new library anthology.
It's the P7M8. It's my Raptor.
And there goes Ian.
Oh.
Okay, he's gone for the rest of the day.
Oh.
I've never liked lemon squeezers.
Yeah, you just
I don't like HKs anyway.
don't care. Titanium.
Differs. Where did you send it? Did you send it to me or did you send it to Amy? Yeah, Dagamore. There's HK,
Titanium frame.
the company that loves to hate its customers.
I have never had a problem with a P. I carry a P7 for years. Never had a single problem with it.
And if worse comes to worse, you can throw it at them and kill them with it.
No kidding. Because when HK made the P7, they took a block of steel and they cut away everything that didn't look like a P7.
Yeah, 2,500 is a little high, in my opinion.
I don't care.
Oh,
You've tried to buy one on the aftermarket.
You go right ahead.
You tried to buy an original P7 M8 on the market.
You go right ahead.
$5,000. $5,000.
I'm like you, RK. I'll stick with my Colts. They work. So anyway, hell, Rick, go look at some of Bill Wilson's pricing, or Les Bayer.
I was about to say Bear.
And Les will tell you his break-in is 2,000 rounds.
Yeah,
We have
he's not
friends
kidding.
that their wedding rings
Wedding rings are a match set of Bears.
match set of Les Bears. And they were out shooting with us in Colorado, and both of them locked up.
Yeah, they hadn't put 100 rounds through the things before. I think it was the first time they fired them.
No, he said they put 500 rounds through it.
Yeah,
But they both locked up tighter than a drum. Had to be cleaned.
had to be cleaned, and I used the last of my Tetralube.
Yeah.
On the rails. Tetralube's good stuff.
And then they
First
locked up
held.
again before we got through the weekend.
Not after I Tetralubed them, they did.
I thought they did.
They locked
Anyway.
them twice. Then I broke them down and scrubbed the crap out of them, and put Tetralube on the rails, and they ran pretty good.
Yeah, Rick. If you got to ask, you can't afford it. That's why I didn't ask a couple of people what they wanted for their guns.
Yeah, Tetralube, and Tetragrease
Yeah.
are the great. Sometimes it's hard to find.
I haven't seen Tetra Grease in a while.
No, I haven't either.
Like I'm down to one little pin left.
That was one of the problems with the P7 is it's a solid chunk of steel. It's a heavy little bugger. There's
Yeah.
two problems. One, it's a solid chunk of steel. Two, the above the trigger guard gets hot with the quickness.
Yeah.
If, however, you use it as the passport to your long arm, which you should have had to begin with,
Yeah.
the heating up's not that big of a deal. It does get hot, but by the time it gets hot, you should have your AR-15 or your MP5 or your shotgun and be doing work. So I never had an issue with it. Anyway, moving on.
Dagamore, yeah. The old 1911s that rattle will still shoot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When I got my uh, ribbon / medal for shooting in the military, the 3 years I qualified were with 1911s that I could literally shake and they would rattle.
Mhm.
And I shot better than 235 with all three of them.
As long as they lock up on ignition,
Yeah.
As long as they have a solid lockup on ignition, they will shoot accurate.
Yeah.
They're not locked up when they rattle.
Yeah.
As long as they lock up when the hammer hits, they're accurate as anything else.
Yeah. Now I do have one that's more accurate, but it's tighter than a drum all the time. And you don't ever want to try to get that thing apart without a spark plug wrench. The 1911 is the Goonie Bird of guns. Yes. Here's a trivia question, since y'all are smart people. What is the oldest currently produced airliner?
I don't know. Airplanes aren't my thing.
Well, let's see what the now currently produced, Ray. Currently produced.
No, he's saying that 1911 is the tri-motor of guns.
Yeah.
Ford tri-motor of guns.
Yeah.
While y'all are thinking about airplanes instead of guns like normal people, probably something Russian.
Wrong, Todd. Nope.
So I made an
Not the
announcement.
Convair either. Not the C-52.
DC-3, isn't it?
Nope.
Or was it?
Currently still produced. Airliner, not Cessna 152. Not some old Soviet design, not a C-130.
Anywho, last night I made a live stream. I've been hinting about this for a while. And so Raptor Press is spinning off an imprint called CrossFox Concepts. I made a big promotion about last night. Basically, what this is there are a lot of nonfiction books out there written by folks who are not on the in with traditional publishing. I've spoken with a gun author, wrote a very good book on guns, and this author is published through Simon and Schuster. And Simon & Schuster has never paid this author a single royalty. So I've got a lot of the old gunfighting books from the old masters, Moss Ayub, Bill Jordan, Cooper,
Yep.
whole bunch somewhere. Where? I don't know. They're somewhere. And I was trying to find my copy of In the Gravest Extreme by Moss Ayub and couldn't. So I did what any normal person would do, and I went to Amazon and I ordered a copy of In the Gravest Extreme, honestly thinking that it was from Moss's publisher.
Yeah.
It's not. He doesn't have a publisher. When it arrived, it was printed upside down. And it looked like the print was off a PDF copy of a PDF. So I started making some inquiries, and there's a whole bunch of the old books, old safari books, old hunting books, Robert Rourke. The old safari books that are not published anymore. So everything you buy on, hey baby, gunfighting books. So everything you're buying is either used or it's a pirated copy. Either way, the authors aren't getting any money for them. Well, I think this is a travesty. I really do. So Cedar Sanderson and Kat Hell and I sat down over coffee and we kind of noodled CrossFox Concepts into being. And what we're going to do, because we are busy, Raptor Press is busy, this is going to be a side project with me, Cedar, and Kat for the first year or so. So we're going to, Kat has a lot of contacts in the gun world. She's been a gun editor and gun writer for years. She's got a lot of contacts, including with some of the old masters. So She's going to go talk to these folks, and we're going to see if they will let us have um, their manuscripts that are already done, so that all we have to do, because again, Ractor Press currently is up to our gonads and gators. We are busy people. So if we get some of the old books that have already been published, we should be able to take the manuscript, do a light editing pass, because a lot of these books were published in the 50s through 70s or 80s. And the copy editing, damn. So we run a light editing pass over it. And then Cedar, bless her heart, is a bit of a perfectionist. She's probably going to want to redo the illustrations to make them clearer.
Yeah.
And publish them back out, put them back out. So my plan right now is, if we get these books, whatever Amazon gives us, whatever royalties we get from Amazon, I will split 50-50 with these authors, or in some cases, the authors' estates. Because a lot of them, if I can get Jim Cirillo's book,
Yeah.
I will republish Jim Cirillo's book in a heartbeat. His estate will have to give the money. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that, a couple of folks this morning asked why 50-50. And I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to have to take care of as far as rights and legal stuff. It's going to be a little complicated. So CrossFox Concepts will be republished currently, nonfiction imprint for Actor Press, republishing previously done books. Once 2025 is done, and once we've learned how to do novels, we will break into publishing brand new books in the nonfiction category. But if you have nonfiction books that were autobiographies of interesting people, or books about survival or hunting, or sane books about gunfighting, Confessions of a Hitman will never be published by CrossFox Concepts. Some of the Paladin Press stuff is good. Some of it's stupid. We're not going after the stupid stuff. You can quote me on that. Nothing that's going to get me sued, like Confessions of a Hitman did. But if you got books on tracking, or Cedars was wanting to do reprint Confessions of a Poacher, which I think would be fantastic. Books on hunting. The old books about safaris in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, I'd be happy to reprint those, especially if it's from the old masters of gunfighting who aren't getting paid for their work. I want to get folks like Mas Ayub. I want to get him paid for what he did. I want him to get some actual cash for the books he wrote, because he's not getting paid right now. So anywho, Carlton, if you get Tony about publishing old science fiction, actually that'll be under Ractor Press, and we are considering that. CrossFox Concepts is strictly nonfiction, or mostly nonfiction, and it's nonfiction military, nonfiction shooting, nonfiction hunting, nonfiction survival, that sort of thing. I'd reprint Left of Bang with a quickness, except I think they've already got that locked down. Someone started looking at office warehouse space on Rack Press and get out of John's workspace. Moving on to other things. We're actually, that was the reprinting old science fiction stuff is something we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of working on that on the side. I've got a bunch of side projects as well as being full-time employed. Yeah. So patience, we're getting there. Anyway, CrossFox Concepts. I've got a brief intro up on my Facebook. I'll be doing some blog stuff. Kat's email address is crossfoxeditor@racketeerpress.com. She'll be one hunting down these manuscripts. Okay. So if you have an idea for manuscript, get a hold of Kat. Either Kat Stevens is, I think, her Facebook.
Yeah.
She's published as Cat Ainsworth and goes by Cat Hell on Facebook.
If you get on the wrong side of her, you'll find out where she got that nickname.
Indeed, you will. If you have ideas for these old books that are classics, contact Cat or me, either one, and we'll see what we can do. Moving on to other things.
All right. The answer is
non-raconteur stuff.
The answer is it's the DC-9 and all of its variants. Has continuously been built as an airliner since 1965. It became the MD-80, became the MD-95. Boeing bought it and it became the 717. And China bought the original McDonnell Douglas plant, moved it all to China, and they are now producing on the same original DC-9 line, the Comac ARJ-21. So it has been in continuous production since 1965. So 64 or 69 years. It's been a while. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. One of the best short haul airplanes you'll ever see. Although DC-9's always had some quirks. One was the rotation on takeoff, because people were not used to an airplane rotating 18 degrees nose up on takeoff. They were used to prop planes, which kind of lumbered into the air. And you get a DC-9 and you go down the runway and go, yeah. And everybody went, oh, fuck, what? Are we dying yet?
Does everybody remember my rants about how Russia is not a peer adversary?
Yeah.
Everybody remember that? The Israelis just bombed a Russian base in Syria.
Yeah.
Russian anti-aircraft didn't stop one of them.
Oh, of course not. We learned that when the U.S. hit
they
Syria.
ain't peers.
Yeah. The elevator jack screw was an issue. Yes, that's correct, Todd. Yeah, right. Back of a DC-9 was a bit noisy. Yes.
Noisier than the back of a C-130?
Yes.
Oh, that's fairly impressive.
Because they didn't have that much noise isolation back in the day.
I don't think the C-130 had any noise isolation.
No, but it was turboprop and much higher. If you were in a window seat in the back row, you were literally 3 feet from the engine. But it's a good airplane. It has made a lot of flights all over the world, in and out of fields that most people would look at and go, we're supposed to land there? Or we're supposed to take off there? Yeah. Private snuffy in the 90s, we thought we built a weapon system counter what they said they could do. Yeah.
I did push-ups for rolling my eyes in basic training.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, Jesse, and I am not sure who still has Maxims, but I'm sure somebody out there, somewhere in the world, still has Maxims.
The Russians are using them.
Yeah.
In Ukraine, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Okay, so more cheerful stuff. Get that. Now I've been to my spleen about the Russians and the American propensity for thinking they're peers.
Yeah.
So We Be Trippin' comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
The electronic version came out today, but please don't start the media blitz until the print edition comes out.
No, Doug, I don't.
You still have your pilot's license. Squirrels, glow stick.
Well, yeah, Boeing has the only service convertible airliner. Yep. And strangely enough, when they went away from smoking, that caused maintenance issues. Because they couldn't get up on top of the airplane and look at the rivets to see where the smoke was coming out of to know which ones were bad. And that's why the Aloha Airlines peeled the top in flight. And the airplane was built well enough that it came back and landed
You're talking somebody that flew with Nigeria Airways. I'm okay. People think the story about the natives starting the campfire on the back deck of a cargo plane to roast their breakfast is a joke.
No, it's not. If I could ever get Neil Hansen on here sometime, we would hear stories that make that pale.
Yeah. Chasing the croc through the aircraft. The crocodile that big can haul.
Yeah,
that big can haul ass. I'm here to tell you. And when you're in a 1950s era cargo plane, you got that many natives doing laps inside the craft. It does weird things to center of gravity.
You think?
Yeah.
That old C-119 flying boxcar trim didn't work that fast.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, it was probably manual trim.
It burned up the co-pilot when he jumped into the back to scream at the villagers to quit running around, and landed in campfire. Set his boots on fire.
Todd, something about it, that's normal in that part of the world.
It was breakfast. It was, quote, something angry in a sack. It turned out to be a crocodile, but
in 1987, I was in Izmir, Turkey, because they have a mining range there, and I was running a mining test for us. Yeah, Ray, that bailout hatch on the C-119 is interesting. You literally get out of the pilot seat, pull up this hatch, and there's an opening, and then a hatch on the bottom.
Good thing the croc didn't know about that, or he had taken it.
You jump and hit the hatch on the bottom, and it's supposed to release.
Good thing the croc didn't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think it would have moved it.
They were getting ready to roast him, and he got loose, and he was running away, and the villagers were chasing him because that was breakfast.
I want to know how he got up the steps into the cockpit.
Encouragement.
Okay.
Yeah, a bunch of folks coming after you waving a machete. You'll get to places you didn't know you could get to.
So I get stuck because they can't send an airplane in to get me because of other things going on. So I get told to go commercial to Incirlik to catch an Air Force op. So I get on the inevitable Turk Air 737 at Izmir Airport, and there are people bringing on shoats and chickens, and I saw at least one goat. Now the shoats and the chickens are in cages. Cages. I've seen better cages made out of popsicle sticks. They shoved them up in the overhead. And we are on the runway, starting the takeoff roll, and people are still standing in the aisles. And the flight attendants, they sat down. They die, no biggie. You know, I'm sitting there with my head in my hands going, you got to be kidding me. I'm never going to live through this, literally.
Raptor says, I think there's an air crash investigation episode about plane in Africa that went down at Crocs. Yes. And actually, the croc was the only survivor.
Yeah.
And when the
got beat to death.
Yeah, the natives found the crash, and the croc was in the middle of it. They beat it to death, as to punish it for crashing the plane.
Yeah, Ray. There are a number of incidents over the years with cargo aircraft with unsecured load CG accidents. You don't walk away from those. FedEx has had them. UPS has had them. I think that 747 out of Bagram was actually a DHL bird. Tie down straps break, load shifts.
Yeah.
Things happen. I mean, how critical is CG on an aircraft? It's very critical.
Oh, James Copley is pointing out there's a documentary out now. There is a Near East or Far East airline that has commissioned planes with no seats.
Oh, yeah. Make it standing room only.
Yep.
Which should make trying to go to the bathroom interesting. But since that part of the world, they don't care. They just drop a load wherever they are.
I'm not going to get on it, but
Yeah.
more power to them.
Yeah. Oh no, Raptor! There are no harnesses. Yeah, he'll evacuate in 30 seconds. Yeah.
I know. I just listened to a AI generated female voice describing how safe standing room only aircraft were. I just
now we multiple people on the aircraft I flew on looked at the CG to make sure, because we knew what the limits were for the aircraft. We knew our particular airplane tended to push the aft envelope a bit. So we actually had limitations when we flew that airplane of how many people could be in back at once, because it would dump on the tail. But you're, as the pilot, you're responsible for that, especially flying cargo, and that's where you pray, literally pray, that whoever did the loading had actually weighed the friggin' boxes they were putting on. I talked to a guy that flew Berlin airlift many years ago, and he was talking about flying DC-3s in and out of Berlin and how the performance on the aircraft kept going further and further down to where they were barely staggering into the air coming in loaded. And, he said, put the gear down, put the flaps down, and you're carrying twice the power you were carrying a month before. And it was a crunch landing. You taxi in, they'd offload the coal.
Coal?
Yeah.
Clue.
Yeah. So he and a couple of the other pilots apparently went in and bitched about it. And they pulled the floorboards and found out there was almost a ton of coal dust in the belly of the aircraft. Every aircraft was like that.
Hmm?
He said, had they continued flying like that, sooner or later they would have crashed one, either on takeoff or in landing at Tempelhof.
In the 50s, there was a plane in the Far East that's that was the same thing. It was a C-47.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was coffee dust.
Yeah.
They were running coffee back and forth, and enough dust came off the hulls because it was roasted, but not. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was beans. But enough dust came off the beans that they had almost a ton of dust under the floorboards.
Yeah.
Whatever. In the belly, there was enough coffee dust that it was almost a damn ton.
Rick, what they do is, especially on the smaller RJs, regional jets, they will actually move people around to get to CG.
Oh, yeah.
And I have seen them do that with a very large land whale on an airplane, where she was made to move from where she was sitting up to a seat in the very forward, because she was probably 300 pounds. And she literally put the entire airplane out of CG aft.
My parents had these buddies that they would go to Branson with all the time, and one time they booked a flight from from Love Field, probably on just a small charter.
Yeah.
That would go up to the Ozarks from Dallas, and they got into the air, and these friends that of mom and dad's were large people.
Yes.
And but they got on the plane, and it was no assigned seats. It was just a little, no flight attendants and all that. And they got in, and that couple went to the very back of the plane.
Oh, geez.
And they got up in the air, and not to the 1/4 way mark. They stopped. They made an unplanned stop in Oklahoma, and asked them to move up to the in front of them. They moved up to the very front 2 seats in the plane, and probably put smaller people like my parents.
I'm surprised they didn't do it in the air, because I wouldn't want to try to land with AFCG like that.
Yeah, well, it was just it was apparently they were very unself-aware people and everything, and I think that their brains didn't touch their spinal cords, so they were. Well, they were just there was a big out of touch component there, but
Yeah.
anyway, I don't think they had any idea
Yeah.
even that it had anything to do with them. What are you looking at?
You've been playing with ink all day, but I don't see ink on your hands. How?
Well,
I can just imagine the pilot sitting up there trying to land, going, "Oh my God, come on, come on, come on, hang on there, rudder."
Rita was playing with ink this morning, but she has none in her hands. So
I had an ink date with an ink buddy. We share so when we each get pots of ink, we will give each other little decants of our ink, and anyway, that was fun.
she's such a geek.
Play date.
Such a geek.
Anyway,
I miss being able to write with fountain pens.
yeah, it's wonderful.
But-
It is.
Ever since getting into aviation, fountain pens are a no-go.
Yeah.
Change pressure.
Oh, because yeah, that's
Mark.
why you had to put the big spot on your pocket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And an empty pen.
But they're kind of wonderful. They're wonderful to have around if you're writing a greeting card, birthday card for someone, or just something like that. They're just fun.
Yeah, and you do it in cursive and nobody can read it but us old folks.
I can't read my own cursive. My handwriting is such chicken scratch. It's terrible. And I think, oh yeah, I'll remember this. And then I have to sit there and decipher my own handwriting. It gave me a lot of practice for students with crappy handwriting, though. I'll say that. But anyway.
The people that train to do calligraphy,
Oh,
that used to be the way everybody wrote.
Well, the thing is, though, also, Elise and I were talking today about that and talking about how slowly calligraphers actually write.
Yeah.
And they are very, very slow and deliberate. I don't think I can calm down enough to write slowly. I'm working on it. It's a goal. I do want to learn Spencerian, but maybe I should just be happy to write something readable.
Spencerian it's not really calligraphy. It was the standard business.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Script. Yeah, but it's beautiful. It is really beautiful. But also all the gorgeous inks. It's just there's such a tremendous palette with the polychromes and the metallic flecks and everything. It's just the colors are just
But the amount of
enthralling.
cleaning you have to do on your pens after you use them.
Yeah. Well, if you do a dip pen, especially the glass quills, those are really easy peasy. As long as you don't let it dry up in the little furrows or the little channels down in the tip, then you're good. But anyway.
Yeah, copper plate. That was the other one. Thank
Coons,
you.
pressure changes. If you have a fountain pen and the reservoir, if there's air in the reservoir at sea level or where you are, when you go up in an airplane,
there won't be.
The lower pressure
expands.
It will drive the ink out the nib.
Yeah. Okay.
That Coons was asking about pressure changes.
Very quickly.
Is that why I have to pee so much on airplanes?
Yeah. That's literally one of the reasons, yes.
Yeah.
Also, in fact, she's nervous. Rita loves going places. She's not that fond of flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our very first trip on a plane, we went to Salt Lake City. And as is my wont, we took off. I went to sleep.
Asshole. How can you sleep when I'm this upset?
Well, you were cussing me and I wasn't even sitting close to you.
I had bruises on my upper arm. I never woke up.
It also causes you to fart. Yes, that's true too. And the people that eat certain fruits, like melons, like watermelon, any of those,
melon, cucumber, too?
Yeah. The gas in those
How interesting.
expands exponentially at altitude.
Oh, what about cruciferous vegetables like
Not a good idea.
broccoli?
Oh, God, yes.
Not a good
Oh,
idea.
God, yes.
No outgassing.
That's why you never see broccoli in food on an airplane.
I swear, my favorite story of a pilot we know is of them flying a celebrity who was very gassy on a private charter.
A Learjet.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Because doesn't the exhaust vent out from below the pilot's feet?
Yeah.
So the intake's at the rear of the plane. So everything expressed by the passengers is experienced by the pilots.
Yeah.
I would think you'd be more mindful about the well-being and consciousness of your pilot. You don't want to if they're not able to
But
maintain consciousness. Then,
There again, it's knowledge of what the airplane does. Yes.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, RK says watermelon, best laxative you ever eaten. Yep.
Really? How
Can be
interesting.
with a lot of fiber.
Okay, maybe I never ate enough watermelon. It didn't. I mean, it. But then again, is it like the like the way the watermelon seeds will squirt?
Squirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Ping!
Yeah. Yeah, there were certain things that you the
Jesse,
canary.
the canary died 100 miles ago.
See, that's one thing that's different between the small bird like a Learjet or something like that. 3 apples after an MRE blockage works great.
Mm,
Now, peanut butter and a Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
That'll clear any blockage.
wow.
Unless
You've been in a field with MREs for X number of weeks. You grab the MRE peanut butter and a regular Dr. Pepper. You go to the bathroom. You make sure the grunt bars are
Yeah.
attached, and then you shotgun the peanut butter and the Dr. Pepper, and you hang on.
I've heard that boiled okra has magical properties. I think it's really slimy and slicker nail grease and what have you.
pilots on pressure O2 just because, yes.
Mm,
But the other thing is airliners use what are called packs. And the packs are up forward. And they can change out the entire air in an aircraft in something less than 10 seconds. I think less than 5 seconds.
that's amazing. And necessary, I expect.
Oh, yeah. But that's why if you're flying on a commercial airliner, you always want the vent blowing right in your face because that's giving you the cleanest air you're going to get on a bird.
I have a habit ever since the Army. If I'm getting on an aircraft, when I land, I'm going to be awake for at least 96 hours. So I have a habit. I get on an airplane, I go to sleep. She's not a big fan.
Yeah, because I'm not driving.
Well, there is that.
She was so mad at me.
Rick says, a Hollywood type caring about the well-being of a lackey. That's a piece of fiction I'd love to read.
It's a Nashville type, but
Yeah.
same difference.
The sleeve of almost any candy maybe was xylitol. Yeah.
I like xylitol. We can't have it in the house though.
We did have one kid on our airplane. He'd had a problem with going to the bathroom a little too often. So we were going out on a 12-hour burner out of Philippines to Vietnam. And we had these little white tablets in the emergency medical kit,
Compazine,
Lomatil.
Lomatil.
And he took one on pre-flight. We took off and he was feeling a little squirrely. So he took a second one. 4 days later, we took him to the ER, who immediately took him to the OR.
Because he had cinder blocks in his lower intestine.
Yeah. They literally had to go in and operate to get him cleared out. Yeah, that was ugly in more ways than one. But he learned a lesson. So did everybody else in the squadron. If you're that desperate, only take one of those friggin' things.
They mean it.
Yeah.
Here's
They're
a
not faking it.
bag of warm water with a hose and a spoon.
Yeah.
You're not going to like this any more than I am. But we can't have xylitol in the house. Xylitol is actually, if you're diabetic, xylitol is great for maintaining blood sugar.
But it'll kill any animal.
You kill a dog and nothing flat. And we
In
have
very tiny, tiny amounts.
we have a Princess Waddlebutt who will be ears deep in my coffee before you can turn around twice.
She's omnivorous.
She is omnivorous.
Yeah.
So no xylitol in the house.
I remember when she got the chocolate powder.
Oh God. Oh,
That was one of the minor ones. That was not as bad as the flowers she ate off one of my hats that had to be surgically removed. It was a bundle of wires.
Yeah.
Dozens of wires in a little cluster. They couldn't have tasted good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, but taste is clearly not the point.
Yeah. It's food.
But anyway.
but the X-ray of that little dog with that bundle of wire. It's like,
Passing that would be interesting.
oh, that was an expensive little trip.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And then we keep fresh hydrogen peroxide in the house because she got a hold of a thing of bittersweet
Yeah, well,
chocolate powder, wasn't
no,
it?
it wasn't bittersweet. It was not sweetened at all. It was
Yeah.
it was Ghirardelli dark chocolate.
Yeah.
and it was just cocoa powder.
She ate the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hell no! I mean, there was a big mess everywhere. Enough of it didn't get in her, but it was enough to be toxic for
And
her.
we shot several syringes of hydroperoxide, and she kept throwing up powder and kept throwing up powder.
And she would have eaten the throw up if we'd let her,
Yeah.
because that's how she rolls.
Don't forget the next month is Anal Fishers Awareness Month, and this year's
Oh.
motto is "Stop the butt hurt." Yeah.
Fistulas are not your friend.
Baby.
As every
What? Like I'm being gross? That's
Yes.
cute.
as
Thank
every
you.
aviator
Thank you.
in the
What was that about a spoon you were saying?
Hose and spoon.
Okay. All right.
as every aviator in the world goes, "Ow!"
I'm ready to be judged here. Okay.
There will be judging.
No.
And the score is
Always.
yet once again we have gone off the rails, deep in whatever.
Hey, there's
Hey,
a Cedar. I'm hoping everything is all right with Sanford's checkup.
And we do have a couple of birthdays this week.
Jonna's birthday today.
Yeah.
And Rita's birthday is soon.
And Cedar's birthday is this weekend, I believe.
So Tuesday. John, Cedar, and Rita all have birthdays.
So a lot of people are getting another trip around the sun. Why is my hamster not eating? Oh, he's got a magnet in his cheek pouch and it's stuck to the cage.
Oh, I read that one.
Oh, ow.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg. Greg, send me your friggin' story for the
Greg
anthology,
shows
please.
up just in time for us to log off.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Only handrails and they were not OSHA approved height. Yeah.
we covered CrossFox concepts. We covered a whole bunch of airplane stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Trivia.
Rita was in. Oh yes, Rack Press website. That's what I was trying to remember. The Racketeer Press website's up. We have a frequently asked questions that we would like y'all to send us the questions you frequently ask. Exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, this could go so.
If you
So
could,
wrong.
I'm ready for it. I've got my helmet on and I'm seatbelted. It's going to
Yeah.
go so bad. Rackpress.com. Wait a minute. Let me get the address real quick.
What format should submissions be in?
Don't start.
It's already started. You're just behind the power curve.
You're right.
.yak.
No. .yak.
Why
Mom.
is the sky blue?
Yes.
Depends on which version you want. If you want the correct version, it's everything but blue.
Okay.
It's
Racketeer Press.
reflecting blue.
Racketeer Press, oneword.com. When you see nothing but orange, you're there. I like the orange, so hush. If you have suggestions, comments, either about the website or frequently asked questions about Racketeer Press, let us know.
DocX, but only the open office version for Arch. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a free FAQ section, and we'd like your input.
Well, the largest thing we've had, Greg, is a 50 cal. So
Yeah.
choose your weapon.
Why are you getting a 404 notice?
Yeah, I don't know.
You shouldn't. I just brought it up. Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Much appreciated. Yes, it's very orange.
Yeah.
I like it. Anything else?
Yeah, leave the 203 at home. Thank you for putting up with us as always.
Technically speaking, when we're running the 12 gauges, it's bigger than the 50 cal. But
Yeah.
I will leave the pontificating.
You've been pontificating all friggin' day.
I have. Pedantry is an art and a
Ever
science.
since you got coffee in you after this morning's text.
You know, Jim,
Uh-oh.
Yes.
something just occurred to me. It was like what you were talking about you would have made the move midair.
Yeah.
Would you really want a buffalo wandering around the plane? Well, I mean, that might be more dangerous than landing with them.
No, it wouldn't, because you can kind of control it a little bit better with trim. And if you
Okay.
only move one at a time,
Yeah.
you can trim. And then when the other one starts moving, you trim even further.
Okay. Well, you know, I remember asking my dad. I said, "Were they embarrassed or anything?" He said, "No, they seemed to not know why they were moved." So I was just like,
Of course, the other reason for me saying that is we were following a Beechcraft on final in someplace in Mississippi. I'm trying to remember where it was when I was in college. And it was V-tail Bonanza.
mm,
And just as they went to touch down, they did a tail flip under and crashed.
"Oh my gosh!"
So it was kind of a, yeah, we'll land long. So we did. We landed over the top of them.
AJ, I literally flinched back from the screen when the sight loaded. That is a lot of orange. Yes.
And
Aren't you glad you went to that website?
about 2 months later, we found out through the FAA report that the airplane had been loaded heavy aft with ammunition because they were going bird hunting in Mississippi.
How much ammunition? Never mind.
So the fuel in the wings had kind of gotten them pretty close to CG when they took off.
But they burned through fuel.
They burned the fuel down. They were less than a quarter of a tank of fuel when they
Tail heavy.
and it literally ducked tail under and pancaked on the runway.
Yeah. You know, do you remember there was that pop star? I know you're about to wrap it up. Why don't I just like bring my big bag full of crap and waylay your
Go ahead.
departure?
Go
But
right ahead, baby.
remember there was that pop singer, and she was named Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And she was on a small plane that was chartered that was going, I think, from Jamaica back to Florida or something.
Overloaded the airplane.
Apparently, there were too many people, and the pilot was having a fierce argument with them about all their bags, and like, you can't take all these bags on here, and they insisted they could. And apparently some sort of compromise was reached, but the pilot went on anyway. I don't know if it was one of those the customer's always right moment. You know what?
They all died.
You know?
So the customer was right up to that point.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they barely got off the ground enough to crash, right?
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit.
Well, that's why they call the V-tail Bonanza doctor and a lawyer killer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm a doctor, I know. I'm a lawyer, I know.
Yeah. Oh, well. Anyway, on that happy note.
Yeah. Yes, they all died, John. You're exactly correct. And we wasted another hour of your time, and that's a hell of a thing to end on. But go forth. Thank you, James.
Why am I afraid of flying?
I don't know, baby.
Hey, I've got 12,000 hours, and I still climb on airplanes.
The thing about flying with Rita's, I break out with bruises in my upper arm.
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea how that happens.
Since James took care of what I was going to say, y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Y'all be safe.
Bye-bye.